really good display of civil disobedience.
We are part of a global movement that is growing.
We're protesting about globalisation.
We really need to sort of alter the system so that people come before profit.
We can actually put a stop to corporate control of our world.
Our world is not for sale! No violence! You let the people out! You let the man out! You let the man out!
Take your hands off me! I never had on you, dickhead.
You blokes should be ashamed of yourself for hurting young women like that. You're a disgrace. You are. You're inciting these people to violence.
The people who have been violent down here are the cops. We came down here to protest peacefully against the kind of society that you people are protecting.
You have been issued with a permit under the Peaceful Assemblies Act to stage a peaceful assembly.
Other way now, come on.
S11 in Australia was the anti-capitalist movement bursting on to the scene.
It was not a movement that was led by the traditional leaders. The trade unions' leaderships were actually relatively left behind by S11. It was the radical activists who got out there and had the courage and the guts and the determination to pull off something like S11.
The world has never been richer than it is today, and millions of people starve to death every year. It's just incredible. Bill Gates, on his own, could solve world hunger.
On the people and the hope that we bring when we spring into action, protesting. We want the whole world noticing.
And I think that definitely it's probably changed the political outlook of a whole layer of people. I think it also had an impact on the trade union movement.
So I think it starts also to build a relationship between the community groups, the student movement, the sort of left parties, and the rank and file trade unions and members of our union, because there has been for some time, I think, a split. And I think it's very, very important that we get those groups together and talking and start understanding that their fight's our fight and our fight's their fight.
S11 activists chose M1 because it is a traditional day of workers' struggle.
May Day is a historical day that actually celebrates workers' rights and speaks of social justice, which is very different from a lot of the other public holidays and celebrations that we have in Australia, like Australia Day, which basically celebrates white settlement and invasion and genocide.
United we stand and divided we fall. And I'm here as an Indigenous woman whose land it is to say that we support you white people. Today, millions of people all around the world are taking to the streets just like us. military dictatorship to blockade their stock exchange. Well, today we stand in solidarity with the people of the world. The people of the world that go to bed hungry at night. The people of the world who work in dangerous, dirty jobs. The people whose land, culture and lives are swallowed up by these greedy corporations. And we stand here in solidarity with the 2.5 million people in this country that live in poverty. And today, we're standing outside the stock exchange, a symbol of corporate greed and heartless capitalism, and we've shut it down.
Melbourne Energy is one of these multinational corporations that owns one of the power stations in the Latrobe Valley. There's 550 workers down there battling like buggery. The company has flatly refused to negotiate a single thing and instead is relying completely on the state system to rob us of our jobs and conditions.
Mining in Jabiluka, who did that help except for one or two families and devastate all my people? All I want to do is say thank you today for coming together, and in numbers we can make a difference. Welcome to Warumbi land. Now the corporate media and big business will tell us that it's irresponsible to protest. Well, we say that it's irresponsible to stay silent in a world where every 5 seconds a child dies in the third world because of hunger. We say it's irresponsible to let corporate globalisation go unchallenged. They tell us that it's inconceivable that we can find some kind of alternative. Well, so I say it's inconceivable that we still live in a world where 24% of the world's population live in extreme poverty. It's inconceivable that we live in a world where the personal wealth of Bill Gates is more than the total wealth of 180 million people in this world.
These corporations who've got their hands on our gas, water, electricity, rail, phone and all that sort of thing, they're going to rob us blind unless we unite and stop them.
Every single corporation that you care to name that destroys the environment or has a blatant disregard for human rights is listed up there on the stock exchange. It's these corporations that are the driving force behind the privatisation of our schools and our hospitals.
We should recognise that the difference between us is insignificant compared to the difference between us and capital.
They may have their billions, they may have their weapons of destruction, they may have their financial empires, their politicians, their media, but we are the majority. And today we shut down the symbolic heart of corporate power. Tomorrow we can and must change the world.
Much bigger than BHP, the big bastards. A couple of years ago they announced they were going to shed 4,000 jobs and their shares went up. What sort of society supports a scummy company that sacks workers? They're environmental vandals, they destroy communities, and we'll have marches, picket lines, demonstrations, occupations, blockades, whatever it takes to fuck these mobs over, because we're not going to stop it anymore. Dare to struggle? You don't fight? The workers, united, will never be defeated.
Unionists, organised workers, the M1 Collective, the environmentalists, and a special notice to the students, particularly the high school students. You're the next wave of community activists, and this is the best university in the land, right here in the street.
Rio Tinto has one of the worst records of human rights, workers' rights and environmental abuse of any corporation in the world. In Australia, just last week, the Industrial Relations Commission brought down a decision that called for the reinstatement of 16 workers who had been sacked at Rio Tinto's operations in North Queensland. These workers were sacked because they were members of the union.
The real objective of the federal government, of Rio Tinto, of BHP, is that they are against collective organisation.